All right. Hello, everybody. We are going to do this, and this is take 2 of why I started drinking 6 months ago. We had a glitch with our last recording, so I apologize for that. I'm really, really happy to be here because this is not the kind of topic we normally speak about. This is not the kind of topic I normally speak about on in a group like this. But I've had a lot of people that have come to me and have had some challenges with this topic, with this kind of with drinking or with other kinds of habits and other lifestyle changes that they're looking to make. And this is a lifestyle choice that I have chosen to do, is to not drink at this point. And I wanted to just share some of the reasons behind that, because I think they're going to resonate with some of you. They're going to be powerful to others, and you might just get a different perspective on things. So if you have any kind of mixed feelings about drinking alcohol, or perhaps you maybe have a habit that you do that you're looking to stop, or something that you're looking to change in your life, and you've had a little bit of trouble with it, and maybe you're just looking to up level and increase your level of excellence. If that is you, you are in the right place. So please, please, please tell me where you're coming in from, because I want to know who's here. And if you are tuning in by replay, type in replay in the chat. Also, if it's your first time here, type in first time in the chat. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Larissa McCook. I'm an author, speaker, and CEO of Larissa McCook Coaching, and I lead highly successful, motivated people through their mental barriers and into unstoppable confidence, authenticity, and empowered lives. And my team and I, we like to rock the boat and really help you stretch beyond your comfort zone so you can radically transform your life and claim your future, because you absolutely deserve it. Hello, Kelsey. Not drinking is a great self-love. I love it. I don't know who you are because you haven't given StreamYard permission to see your name. So pop your name in the chat, or I will see who this is afterwards. So yeah. So I'm going to just paint a little picture for you. So January 3rd, I decided to stop drinking alcohol. It's actually my birthday. And I remember it must have been January 2nd when I made the decision, but January 3rd, I woke up early and I decided to weigh and measure myself and just take a picture of myself in my underwear. So that was a highly, highly uncomfortable moment, because I don't recall ever being that heavy in my life. Other than when I was pregnant. I don't recall being that large in my life other than when I was pregnant. And I was just not feeling really, really spectacular. And I figured, I'm going to give myself a birthday present that actually means something to me. And that was huge for me. Oh, Tamara. Hello, Tamara. Beautiful. So that giving myself that birthday present was really huge, because it was getting tight, like tough putting my jeans on. I didn't like how the muffin top was hanging out of my pants, and it just didn't feel great. I'm used to being a dancer. I worked in a Pilates studio for many years. And so I was always moving and I was always on the go. And there was always something in my life to balance the extra calories I was taking in. And that had really subsided with the pandemic. Now, with the pandemic, we also got in an awesome habit of having family dinners. And with family dinners, those are special occasions. So you want to make every day special. So let's have a glass of wine. And that wine occasionally would turn into, oh, I'm not feeling a little stressed today, so I better have a glass of wine just to relax. Okay. And there was a day, I remember my son came up to me. He's like, Mama, you need to relax. Do you need some wine? And he's 3. So if my 3-year-old's telling me, hey, Mom, you need to slow down, you need to relax, and he's saying you need some wine, clearly he saw the association. And so for many, many reasons, I was looking to make a change, and I just had a lot of reasons not to. And as soon as I actually made that committed decision, right, I kind of went back and forth for a long time, but there was a moment where it really switched, and I said, I'm actually ready to do this. I'm ready to say, I don't want to drink alcohol anymore. And I made that commitment to myself. It took me about several months to think about it, but I wasn't serious. And then the week before, I was really seriously entertaining it. I'm like, it's my birthday. What am I going to do for my birthday? I'm like, I want to do something special. And that was it. That was the thing that kept coming up. And so I decided to listen to my intuition. There were many signs that were popping up from all over the place. And I finally decided to take them seriously instead of just ignoring them. Now, I also publicly announced it, right? I publicly announced it to my clients. I publicly announced it probably on social media. I'm assuming it's in one of these Facebook Lives, that I was not going to stop, that I was going to stop drinking for 12 months. And as soon as I publicly admitted it, I was like, holy moly, what did I do? Am I going to be able to keep this up? I got really scared and intimidated for myself. Like, I knew I wanted to, but if I go, like, I can't go back. You've publicly admitted it and you've made a commitment. And so part of me was scared. And deep down, I also knew that there was something more than this, than just the muffin top. There was something more about this than just setting an example for my son. And since then, I've periodically thought about it, but not really. It's not huge in my awareness. But I've recently reconnected with a few people that are drinking a lot, and they are either reducing it or they've chosen to stop, and they've gone through something similar. And so it got me really thinking about what choice I had made and why I had made it. And when you look below the surface, right, there's always something below the surface to every decision. Usually there's the surface level, right, the muffin top, and then inside the muffin, there's something in there. And when I really looked at it, I realized I had always had mixed feelings about alcohol from day one. I never grew up drinking. Whenever people around me would drink like when I was a kid, I would be highly, highly uncomfortable. When my parents would have glasses of wine or any alcohol, I would always feel really, really uneasy. I didn't know why, but there was this discomfort in me from day one, even just as people were having a glass of wine. There were some people in my world that drank too much, and I didn't want to end up like that. I had this big fear that if I have one glass, I'm going to turn into like this big raging alcoholic. And that was always in the back of my mind growing up. So I just completely avoided it as a kid. I had assumed I had an addictive personality. So I had diagnosed myself with an addictive personality as a child, and I therefore avoided that behavior so that I wouldn't have to face it or run any risks of dealing with it. And so in my early 20s, I'd periodically have a glass of wine. I never really felt good about it. Even when I did have a sip of wine, it didn't feel good in my mouth. It didn't taste good to me. And I deep down, I knew it was like not a healthy thing for me. And I would justify this to myself because people would say, oh, it's just a glass of wine. It's okay. It's not a big deal. It's just a glass of wine. And so I said that to myself, even though under the surface, I knew every time I had that sip, it was just not a good thing for me, right, in my world. And initially, as we went to more parties and more events, right, I had friends that would offer me drinks, and, to fit in, you want to have the glasses of wine. A lot of people go through that in high school. I went through it a little later. But I wanted to fit in. So I would have a couple drinks, like 2 drinks, and that was my max. And then we would go to more and more events. And I remember even pre-pandemic, we were at the point where my husband and we had a fairly active social life, and we had a very active community involvement. And we were out like 4, 5, sometimes 6 nights a week. And that's a lot of socializing. And so you just get in this habit where things are offered and presented, and you just say yes without even thinking about it. And that's the habit I fell into, is just saying yes. Oh, just a little bit here, a little bit there. When the pandemic happened, oh, just another glass of wine with dinner. Oh, not feeling good, just have another glass of wine because I'm stressed. And other ways I justified it were like, oh, red wine has antioxidants, so I'm only going to drink red wine because it's got health benefits to it, and antioxidants are good. And I even actually had someone tell me that I should start drinking regularly because it slows my brain down. She's like, Larissa, you think too fast. You think faster than the rest of us, and you need to slow down so you can get back to our level and we could have like real meaningful conversations. I actually had someone tell me that. And all this to say, I never really felt comfortable with drinking in the first place, right? I did it for all the wrong reasons, and I did it for way too long. And I want to share this not to make you think that this is something you can't do or you shouldn't do, but I want to share this with you because there are things that you may be doing, whether it's drinking or whether it's another behavior or another activity, that deep down really don't feel good to you. They may not feel good to you. Just if you actually take the time to pause and think about it and really look, like, does this activity align with my soul? Does this activity align with the person that I wish to be? Does this activity align with the reason I am put on this earth? And if it doesn't, that's a really big reason to reconsider it. And for me, it just happened to be alcohol, right? And I would brush these signs off because it was more convenient just to have a drink with a friend or have a drink with my husband. And instead of saying no, or instead of finding another way or finding another strategy. And there's a story about a rabbi, and this rabbi, he love the rabbi story. Okay. This rabbi was caught in a storm, and it was not just a storm. It was like a really, really big flood. And so this flood was going pretty hard. And so his friend pulled up in a car and said, "Hey, Rabbi, come in. We're skipping town because we're going up the mountain. We don't want to stay here in the valley. This storm is not going to stop anytime soon." And the rabbi's like, "No, no, no. God will take care of me." And so God lets it rain. He lets it rain, rain, rain. And all of a sudden, the rain is covered the first floor of the rabbi's house, and he's on the second floor looking out the window. Someone comes by in a motorboat, and they're like, "Hey, Rabbi, we're, coming out and collecting the rest of the people in the town. Come join us. We're going up the mountain. We're going to go to safety." And he's like, "No, no, no. God will take care of me." All of a sudden, keeps raining, keeps raining, keeps raining, and the rabbi's on the roof of his house, and a helicopter comes down. Someone comes down the ladder, extends their arm, and says, "Hey, Rabbi, come up. This is like your last chance." And he's like, "No, no, no. God will save me." Well, the rabbi dies, and he's in heaven. He's having a conversation with God. And he asks God, he's like, "Why didn't you save me?" And God says, "Well, I sent you a car. I sent you a boat. I sent you a helicopter. Why didn't you get in?" And so often we have these signs in our world and in our universe, and it's our job to actually pay attention to them. And as soon as we do, that's when the world will open up for us. That's when the opportunities will open up for us. That's when we will really, truly be living in alignment with our truth, right? And it's our job to pay attention to the signs that our physical body, that our world around us is giving us, and for us to interpret them and to make a decision as to whether we're going to act on them or not, because we have a choice. We all have a choice. The rabbi could have chosen to take one of the signs God gave him. He chose to think that wasn't the right sign. He chose to think that wasn't anything meaningful. And so I want you to really wake up and pay attention and realize that you were put on this earth to do magical and wonderful things, right? You were put on this planet to do really, truly magical and wonderful things. And I want you to really think about, like, what would you like to see from your life, right? What do you want to see from your life? 20, 30, 40 years from now, where do you want to be? Even next year, how do you want it to be different? Because the fact is, anything you can entertain is possible. You've just got to make a decision, and a committed decision to go for it. Now, 2 days after I made this public declaration of I'm not drinking for a year, okay, I heard Kelly Roach. I was in the bathroom doing my makeup, and Kelly Roach is one of my mentors. She grew a business from 0 to 8 figures. I heard her talking about, she had some questions about one of her talks that she presented around the holidays, and it had to do with scheduling and with really optimizing your life and clearing out some of the excess that's not necessary. Okay. Hair is getting itchy, and clearing out some of the excess that's not necessary. And someone asked a question about alcohol, and she immediately says, like, I didn't even consider adding that as part of the training because it's not a part of my world. Like, it's not even something I consider on a daily basis. And as soon as she said that, And someone being of her caliber, right? She's got really high standards. She has a beautiful life and she knows exactly what she wants and she goes for it, right? Someone with those kinds of standards, realizing that that wasn't even part of her day to day and it wasn't even in her world. That was so huge and so profound for me because it made me realize like I had spent so much time even just thinking about like, oh, what kind of wine do I want for dinner? And just the idea of bringing the energy of that into my life, and the impact, even like the day after you have wine, you never feel as alert. You don't, you might be a little more tired or sluggish and you might be sleeping in a little later. Like the impact it has on you is huge. And so I really stepped back. I did a rewind and looked at what impact I wanted to make in this world. Right? You want to make an impact too. What impact is it that you want to make? And when I really looked at the impact I wanted to create, it didn't involve having daily glasses of wine. And that was definitely not at the top of the list. Yet this was a practice I was doing on a regular basis. Okay. And so she stopped giving that attention. So I decided, like, why don't I just stop giving that attention to wine as well and put that attention on something else, put that intention that I had into something more productive. Because the fact is, I was looking to grow and develop a beautiful business. I wanted to be there even more for my clients. Like, we do some amazing things with clients, and I wanted to be even more fully present. Some of the things that I have planned this year are phenomenal. We've already achieved most of our initial goals for the year in the first half. And so we're resetting our goals for the second half of the year so we can accelerate even further. Okay. So most of the commitments we set out, we've already made. We're resetting them to add and to excel even further. And I know I want to grow this business into something beautiful for so many people that we serve. Our clients are phenomenal and they deserve it. I realized, my son doesn't need to think mom needs a glass of wine in order to relax. Perhaps I could start finding other activities. And so I started meditating on a much more regular basis. And I don't have that need to jump around as much. My mental clarity is so much stronger. And even spending those 20 minutes every morning, maybe 20 minutes in the afternoon as well, that has made a world of difference. So instead of turning to one activity, I started adopting a new activity that had a much more productive outcome in so many realms. We'll talk about meditation another day. It's got many, many benefits. I started tracking my personal health journey because just like in business, right? If you're in business, you want to track your numbers to make sure you know where you're going and you're excelling and moving forward and making progress. Well, when what gets measured gets done. So I started tracking my numbers. And when I started tracking my weight, my measurements, and taking a picture of myself every month in my underwear, wasn't pleasant that first month. I was able to start seeing progress. It wasn't a huge progress in the beginning. I wasn't extremely overweight. I think I was like 15, 20 pounds heavier than I normally am and would like to be. And every month it's just been going down and down. And I literally have not made any dramatic changes. That I decided to do that and see what impact it would have. And I also asked for help, right? I asked my husband for help. I said, I want to grow a business. I want to treat my body well. I want to be honest with myself. And I really want to be a good human. And he's in support of all that. And I said, this is a practice I don't want to do because I don't feel good about. And when I met him, he had this intimate relationship with beer. He was like, oh, I love beer. I'm never going to give that up. My husband quit smoking for me. He was never going to give up beer. And over the course of the years, we'd both become much more aware of health practices, and he was willing to do that. He was like, you know what? That sounds like a good plan. I like having a beer. I like having a glass of wine, but that sounds like a good idea. It's probably not the best thing we could be doing. And if we do it together, it's going to be more successful. And since we've both made that decision, we have been so much more connected to our son. I have to honestly say, I don't know if it's because of that or just because of other factors where we've been able to spend more time with him because of the pandemic, but we've literally been so much more connected to our son since the new year. And it's amazing. We love him to pieces. He's the cutest kid in the world. I know you've got cute kids. I love mine. And And it's just so joyful. It's such a beautiful thing. It's so much easier to get up and go to bed early, right? And I'm sleeping more. I've always been a good sleeper. I can pass out like that, but I'm having better sleep practices, so I wake up even fresher. I have been able to be more productive in my business and differently productive in my business because I know I have a mission. We're here to impact. We're here to create global impact to many, many people across the globe. And if that's something that you want to do, join us, because we've got some amazing things coming with our Abundance Accelerator program. So we dropped that to a few people last week, and it's so exciting. But really making a decision and committing to yourself is going to be a huge thing. And I've learned that I don't need alcohol to get my antioxidants. Berries are very sufficient. There's a lot of foods that have antioxidants in them. Alcohol, for me personally, is not something I need in order to have beautiful connections with people. It's not something I need in order to just step out of my comfort zone and be relaxed. I can get that relaxation in different ways. And I have gotten it because I've made the choice. Initially, it was a little unfamiliar. And the more I practiced, the easier it got. So sometimes your current way of doing it just needs a little bit of practice if you're looking for another method. And it also is possible to relax in other ways, right? Meditation has dramatically calmed my life. And when you start to live in alignment with whatever it is that you need to do, whatever it is that you want to do, and really live your truth. This was one truth that I sort of pushed aside in the closet. And there's only so many things you can kind of push inside the closet before that closet gets full and wants to topple over. And having a glass of wine, drinking alcohol, for me was that thing. It was something I was never comfortable with. It was something I never felt good about in my own body. And I was always ashamed of admitting it to people, right? Because I was afraid of being judged. I was afraid of being excluded. However, I really look at the most successful people in the world, and they're very unapologetic for their choices. And as soon as I made that decision, I was so proud of myself to be able to do that. And I am completely unapologetic of that choice and the choices I'm making moving forward. Will I ever have a drink? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I've definitely committed to not drinking this year, and had many drinks offered, and I've very easily said no. So that might change a bit in the future. But I also know if I do decide to go back to having an occasional glass of wine, it's going to be for very different reasons. It's going to be for under very different circumstances. And I'm going to be much more mindful of the choices I'm making and why, and make sure that they truly, truly are in alignment with who I am, who I want to be, and what it is that I'm moving forward towards. So I want you to really think about that. Like, go and make some beautiful choices with your day. And this July, we're actually putting together a beautiful program. We've got a 2-day program that we're putting on. We've typically done 5-day events, and we are doing a 2-day, so two full days that we're putting on, and it's absolutely free. It's called the Abundance Accelerator Workshop. It is Friday, June 23rd and Saturday, June 24th. And my team and I were just putting the finishing touches on it. We are so excited about it. We've got some phenomenal pre-events that will be happening starting next week. So July is going to be an amazing month. Kelsey's in the chat. She said, DM her if you would like to register. Yes, absolutely. There will be things all over this Facebook page, all over our social media and emails shortly, because truly we are living in this world of abundance, and we have everything it is inside of us that we need. So we would love for you to join us for this free Abundance Accelerator Workshop. It is for entrepreneurs, for conscious entrepreneurs looking to double their impact, right? Double their impact and double their income in 6 months or less. So if that is of interest to you, please join us, and more to come on that soon. So with that, have a beautiful day. Live your truth. Really live your truth, and live it unapologetically, because you were put on this earth to do some beautiful and wonderful things, and you are here to make it happen. And whatever choices you make, make sure you feel really good about them. Whatever choices you make sure they are aligned with you. So you have a fantastic day. I hope to see you at the Abundance Accelerator 2-day workshop, and we will show you how you can double your income and double your impact in 6 months or less. Bye for now.